Okay, so today we're looking at the JJRC H36, which is essentially a clone of the Eachine EO10, which is essentially a clone of the Blade Inductrix. If you're wondering what the difference is between this and the Eachine, it's essentially colour. There's no difference between the motors, the battery, the circuitry, or anything like that. The only difference is colour. So this is in black and grey. I think you can get it in blue as well, and then the Eachine comes in green or red. So basically, guys, pick your own colour. Don't worry about the branding, because they're all the same. So this comes with a 150 milliamp hour JJRC branded battery, and that lasts me about 4 minutes once I've put the camera on there. So it's pretty decent, you know. You could probably upgrade the battery because you can see here it's really easily removable. So you could probably somehow get a tiny bit of a bigger battery and probably wedge it in that plastic bit there. So probably upgrade it to about 5 minutes, 6 minutes maybe if you wanted to get a bit of a bigger battery. So this is a tiny stock controller that comes with it. The left top hand button changes the rates. We've got high or low rate on there, and the right does flip, so forwards, backwards, left and right. We've also got these two trim buttons as normal, and then also return to home and headless mode as would be expected. So I tested it a bit and it was quite good, but obviously there's no FPV on it, so we're going to go ahead now and solder our FPV camera onto it. Don't worry about that solder word, you know, sometimes for you new guys it can be a bit scary, but this is going to be really, really easy. I promise you, you're soldering 2 wires, so if you don't have a soldering iron already and you're getting into drones, go ahead and buy one because you're going to need it a lot, and it's really, really simple. I'll walk you guys through every step of the way, so let's go ahead and do that. So go ahead and get your minicam and add a bit of solder onto the 2 wires. You can do this just by heating up a tiny bit of solder and then rubbing it onto the naked wires as I'm doing here. So this will make it easier when it comes to solder that onto the circuit board. Okay, so then blue tack it onto the top of your PCB just so that it doesn't wiggle about whilst you're soldering the wires, and then hopefully you've got some spare tweezers lying about. These actually came with my soldering iron because this is going to be a tiny bit fiddly. First of all, you want to heat up the circuitry board, heat up the solder that's already on those 2 pins you're going to connect to there, and then once that's nice and hot, quickly heat up the filament on the wire that you've got, and then just attach the 2 like I'm doing now. Sorry, the camera's not very well focused, but that's what happens when you film on your phone. So there you go, it was that easy. Now just get the other one and attach it on the other side in the same manner, and you're done. Now this was a bit fiddlier because I was trying to get it in the camera and solder it and hold it, so it was a bit awkward, but I managed to do it in the end, and it's really easy. So there you go, guys, you've soldered 2 wires on, nice and easy. Now you can go ahead and tiny whoop. One thing I'm going to say, you'll see me scraping it here, just make sure that your 2 solder bits aren't touching. There wants to be a definite gap between those 2 bits of solder, otherwise you're probably going to end up getting a short circuit and this might not work. So that's pretty simple to do, really easy. Let's go ahead and take a look at it and see how it flies. So here's some footage I got in a rather dusty car park underneath my building, and you'll see that the drone is holding up pretty well, even with the nearly 5-gram camera on the top of there. I was quite impressed, to be honest. You know, it's still pretty speedy, it's pretty quick, and it's managing to get a really good range actually. This car park's probably about 80 meters across, and I was probably going at least 30 or 40 meters away from myself with the drone. So the advertised distance on it is 30 meters, but we can easily get over that. So the camera's holding up pretty well. It's nice and sturdy on there. I just attach it with some blue tack and a zip tie. You know, you maybe use an elastic band to reduce a bit of weight, or just go on with the blue tack if you're happy enough with that on there. So this does dip a tiny little bit because the camera on there is a bit heavy. So when you're pitching forward and you release the throttle, it takes a while to go back up. But apart from that, I'm really impressed with this. It's such a cheap way of doing a tiny whoop, and it's really, really simple. So go ahead, check the link in the description if you want to purchase it. Be sure to subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you next time.